seeking, and also we are in our physical realm earning, taking care of our children when they go to classes and making dinner maybe right now, or shop, whatever the other things, and also sharing our knowledge with others. So I really welcome Prerna, Dr. Prerna Singh, and whenever you are ready, you can take the platform. Thank you, Prerna, for taking time and sharing your knowledge, your readings with us.
Anuradha, thank you for that. While I'm dealing with the technical issue here, I would say thank you for filling up the time. I really wanted, Anuradha, just to give a background here, Anuradha had been asking me for an introduction, or little expanded introduction. I kept telling her that, I want this to be an experiential talk as opposed to filling the session or filling ourselves with words. And sometimes words and language is really important. That's the platform for us to get situated and get started. But I sometimes feel that words can also be a noise, before something so spiritual and so divine. So like all of us, I don't know how the rest of us got into the journey of spirituality. For me, it came with a low in life, I have to say. I think I was steeped in life with everything going on, and those who are devoid of all the lavishness and rich of the life, they are the ones who are the real devotees of God. And I feel that only when I got into the low of my life, that spirituality progress kind of, the spirituality in itself came into my life. Before that, I wasn't even seeking anything, even when the low came. I mean, everybody has their own journey. Things happen in life. But then, just a plug-in here, a spirituality, there's so much books, so much this, that, all of it is just a preparatory thing. It's not, unless we experience spirituality, it's just going to be a long journey. But once we start experiencing, once we have the intention that we want to get in this path, that we want to progress in this path, then it takes us somewhere else. It's we become something else. We just become a conduit, like it said. And I just feel that we are, as humans, we are endowed with so much. We have, like no other creatures, we have this dimension where we can reach and we can become divine. And divine, not just in our us. It's an experience we have to experience being human. The onus, it's an onus on us. If we die without having this experience, we have really not lived our life fully. That's all I'll say. And today I'll hopefully my computer will act better. I'm going to start the Zoom here.
So true that you say such a thing, that yes, anybody can jump in also, but as Prerna is, making her slides or whatever presentation available to us, that is very true. In the depths of our difficulties and challenges, we go within, and it's like, something very profound, or something, it happens many a times that when we are joyful, we are attached to the external object world, which is also an important part of our physical lives here as human beings. But the moment we touch that low point,
to the actual experience, and so experience there's no replacement for it, and I think that's how we should start here. So what we'll do is we are going to sit erect with our backbone straight, and if we can do cross our legs. But if we can't, if we're on the chair, that's all right. We'll just sit with our backbones erect, and we'll make chin mudra like this. And we'll just keep it facing upward on our legs. And we'll just do about 4 to 5 chantings of Om. And Om, like you can feel when we say Om, the word is made up of A-U-M. And we'll focus on the utterance of these letters. So the way it works is we'll say and we'll gently close our mouth, and it becomes oo, and we close the mouth all the way, and it becomes So it goes and every time we say the word, the reverberance, we should feel the reverberance, the letter A, we should feel it in our navel part. And we should move ourselves, our awareness with the reverberance. So when we say it's at our navel part of our body. When we say ooh, it comes to our heart, to our throat area. When we say it comes to our forehead, to our sahasrara, to our yagna, this area. So we just, every time, we'll just utter for 5 times or 6 times. Every time we utter, we are going to make sure that we'll move with that reverberance. We'll move our awareness with it, and we'll rise from our navel area to our forehead. So we'll do that. And then I'll let y'all know when to come out of it. So we'll start with it. So we'll sit with our backbone straight with the chin mudra. And we'll start. And if we just chant Om and do nothing else, like we do nothing else in the path of spirituality, we don't have to read, we do nothing else. If we just chant Om at least 21 times, it takes us into another world. It does something to us. I do not know the science, what it does, but it takes us in some other dimension, and it opens up a new world, absolutely a new, we come to a place where we can experience life beyond what a regular life is. And then a lot of things happen. And it can be said until we experience it. So I wouldn't say what happens. I would just say that we should all never let our lives be gone without this experience. That's all I'm going to say. But I'm gonna start by saying that spirituality, to me, it takes me into the zone of what's called kalpa vriksha. And by kalpa vriksha, I mean it's when we really start experiencing it, we become this, we rise, our life energies just rise, we become this source where we are transcended. And I think, like I've been saying, this has to be experienced, and we should not let this light go in waste. And
And I think the most important thing about Kalp Vriksha is it takes our life energies. It makes us rise. And when we do that, when a person does that, his complete energy is getting organized in one direction. And everything becomes like a conduit, like I said. There's no intervention in the path, and life becomes a conduit to what you want to do, to whatever you want to do. It becomes a conduit. And all I wish is we choose very, very wisely what we want to do. And then when we have chosen it, we should really make ourselves this kalpavriksha. And we have these tools that can help us, that actually helps us to get there. And so whatever it is, we should put our lives behind it. We should do it, whatever the goal is, whatever it is. And here we have the tools. And I just wish that all of us do take this chance and go ahead with it. But okay, but really let's get into the spirituality itself. If we look into our scriptures, there are 4 paths, which are called the yoga paths, or yog is actually the real word, as they say it. But there are 4 paths to spirituality. Like Vivekananda says, each soul is potentially divine, and we should manifest this divinity both internally. So when we manifest this divinity, it's not, I mean, us being in this material world, we always think about the world. I mean, we got to think about our existence, the basic amenity, the basic things. So there's an external part that cannot and should not be forgotten. But when we manifest this divinity within, it's not just within, it becomes us. So it manifests externally as well, in the things we do, in the person we become, in the situations that we have around, and the situations, how we turn it around, all of it, this divinity manifests in all of those directions. And so Vivekananda says, you can do it by either work, you can do it by either worship, you can do it by gyan, knowledge, or you can do it by psychic control. That's, in other words, is Raja Yoga. And this is the opening statement for his book, Raja Yoga, which I thought I'll keep it next to me, but I don't have it right now. But and something that we can all read just in case we want to get started with something that's in literature, or most of us might, or some of us might even have read it. But he says that work, worship, knowledge, and the Raja Yoga, we can use one of them or all of them, and when we do that, it sets us free. So the 4 paths of yoga and it's not just him, the origins of these 4 paths of yoga actually comes from Patanjali Sutra, but they are Karma Yoga, Jnana Yoga, Raja Yoga, and Bhakti Yoga. And there's no particular real order, really. I mean, I've just put it in a random way, but there's nothing is higher, nothing is lower. And we can do one, or we can do all. We can start with one and we can do it all, or we can start with 1 and 2, and all of us, I mean, fortunately, being human, all of us do the karma yoga every day in our life. The karma that we perform, so we are in the practice of yoga. Already we are. As humans, we cannot live by performing yoga. There is no way that we can exist. Our consciousness will not allow for us to live our lives without performing our duties, without performing our karma yoga. Be it us as a parent, or us as a father going out and working, us as somebody who devotes their time for community, like Anuradha. You have been doing it for all of us here, or all of us, by sharing. All of this is karma yoga. All of this And the karma yoga is not just in physical, tangible world. The karma yoga starts in our thoughts. The karma that we perform with our thoughts, how we make our life easy and a conduit to our path, is all our karma. We choose that karma. We choose their karma, and we have the ability every minute to choose that. How we do it is that's the potential. That is what God has given to humans. That's how we are way above than any other creatures. So we already there with the karma yoga. We perform our karma yoga with, I think with the scriptures, what happens is we remove the obstacles in the karma yoga. Because when we all doing karma, but the scriptures here actually helps us learn what part of the karma that are the areas that we should not choose to make it as our karma in our thoughts, in our actions. What part of the karma should be completely excluded from our life to take us to make us rise in our life. And that's what we'll look at in a minute here, and then the other yogas as well. So let's look at the karma yoga. Let's start with the karma yoga. So these verses are from Bhagavad Gita, and no other scripture, or actually, I should say, I haven't come across anything better than what Bhagavad Gita tells us about karma yoga. So this one, the first one up here is 2.45, chapter 2, 48, chapter 2, 48 sloka, and it says, Yogastha kuru karmani sangam tyaktva dhananjaya siddhiya siddhyo samo bhutva samatvamya yoga uchyate. Yogastha. Yogastha, it means be steadfast in your yoga, in your karma yoga. Do, kuru karmani, do your yoga. Sangam tyaktva dhananjaya. Sangam tyaktva means, sangam is attachment. Tyaktva is abandon. Abandon, give up your attachment, Dhananjaya, O son, O Parth. Give up, perform your duty with full sincerity, with everything you got, but detach, abandon yourself from siddhi asiddhiyo samo bhutva. Siddhi, from the success and the failures. Detach yourself completely from the success and failures. Samatvam yoga uchyate. Then we become equanimity. Then we achieve. Then the hindrances of life are removed. I mean, it sounds very, very cliched. Really, it sounds very cliched, but siddhi asiddhiyo. I mean, let's think about how easily we attach. We start our work. The first thing we think, oh, this is how it's going to map out. We map it out in our minds, and this is how it should be performed, and this will be the results there. And this is how my plan of getting there should be. We make a list, 1, 2, 3. And then there's a failure in the sense, whatever. I mean, step 1 didn't work, or step 10, after 9 steps, 10th didn't work. And there was a complete failure. And I've been through all this. I mean, all of us in our life, that's life. That's normal. I mean, siddhi asiddhi, the moment we perform our karma by completely saying, you know what, I'm going to give my best in whatever I'm doing. But I'm ready. I mean, I don't want to be a player who doesn't give the best. If I'm a player and I'm playing with another team, and if they don't play against me with their full strength, I don't want to play with that team. My team wouldn't want to play with that team. So I want to give the best. But at the same time, if I lose, okay, that's all right. If I lose, does that mean the next game I should not play? No. If I lose, then I'm like, okay, that's all right. I'll move on. I learned this was that opportunity that I got. Without this experience in my next game, I wouldn't know what worked and what didn't. So I mean, we know all of this. The problem is we know each and every word that we just read here. The problem is we don't live it. We burden ourselves with the failures. We burden ourselves with the celebrations of success. Because then what happens when we celebrate the success and the next thing doesn't work out as much, just like what we did in the last one, then we get disappointed. And then our yoga is not the same yoga performed with the same integrity, performed with the same intensity. So I think we know all of this. So it's just a matter of when we sit down and read what we already have, the gems that we have. I think, and I think one thing I'll say that Bhagavad Gita has taken a huge place in my life, just because of the small recognition that this actually are words that is given to us by God himself, like by Krishna himself. Like he himself was on this earth about 5,000 years ago, right before the Kali Yuga started, right at the 3000 BCE. So second one is pretty similar. Karmajam buddhi yukta hi phalam tyaktva minishina janma bandha vinirmukta padam gacchanti anamayam. So this one actually karmajam buddhi yukta hi. This one is very similar to the previous one, that karmajam, when we perform our duty by freeing ourselves from the fruits, phalam, from the results, that's when janma bandha vinirmukta. Janma bandha, and I really don't want to go into the janma, so janma bandha vinirmukta essentially is saying that when we perform our karma by freeing ourselves from the results, then God himself is saying, I don't know, Anuradha, if I'm going to repeat this, but I was saying how really Bhagavad Gita has come to have a huge place in my life. And I think and I think the reason is that it comes from Krishna itself. Like it comes from God himself. He's saying it to Arjun, and it's directly come to us. Like our Krishna, who lived on the same very earth, like 5,000 years ago in 3000 BCE, around those times, he has written these words and he's passing it to us, directly to us. And I mean, so it has come to take a huge place in my life, in a lot of our lives, is because it's a direct word that's coming to us from the God, from Krishna himself. And I think by this word, janma bandha vinirmukta, it's being said that when we perform, Krishna is saying that when we perform our duty by detaching, by being freed from the fruits, we go out of the cycle of life and death. We transcend. And I don't want to get into the death and life cycle topic here, because it's a vast topic. And I think if I just briefly say a line or two, it'll not help us understand or put us in the context. And I don't think I want to get there, but just we'll take it on the surface, that when by just practicing our karma without attachment, we can transcend this life and death cycle. That's just something that God tells us directly, and he gives us the path. The path that detach yourself from your karma, and you can be there. You can transcend the cyclicity of birth and death. But the next one, which is the nakarmanam anarandham naishankarmyam purusha nyuchyute nacha sanyasanad eva siddhim samakshi gachanti. So this one just says that it's not like any of us can live without karma, by performing karma. Like and by karma we can say it's everything. By karma, the karma that we do when we go to work, the karma as a parent, as taking care of the kids, the karma that we do in the external life, the karma not just starts and ends there. The karma actually also, the Karma Yoga also covers the karma in our mind, in our thoughts, the karma of the way, the thoughts that we bring in, the thoughts that we have, the thoughts that we manifest, the thoughts how we use, the thoughts how we did, how helps us to manifest in our action. I mean, all of that karma. So this karma that we are talking about here is not just physical external karma, but the internal, the karma that starts from the little seed of thought, the thought energy. That's where it starts. So the Karma Yoga, and so we have the choice. We have the choice of how we do our Karma Yoga. And so the Krishnaji here in this verse, he's saying that it's not just it's not like we can just sit down and be in tamasic world, be in tamasic guna, tamasic where we are lazy. We cannot. The human beings, our consciousness is such that we cannot exist without performing karma. Whatever karma it is, the choice is ours. The choice becomes us, how we choose the action, the thought. But we have to, our consciousness will not let us sit down and be in tamasic mode. Now we have to be careful about what he means here. It's not like only performing karma is the right way. Like performing karma, like just keep on working, going to work and work in the morning, work, come home, pick up your work again. And because, you're like, I am doing my karma, I'm giving my full to it, I'm doing the karma. There is a shloka in Gita, which I haven't put in here, but I think it's very timely. I should kind of refer to it. And it says, anybody who does too much work, anybody who does too little work, anybody who does too much play, anybody who does too little play, anybody who sleeps a lot, anybody who sleeps very little, anybody who eats a lot, anybody who eats very little, can never become a yogi, can never attain the highest, can never reach their potential to do what they want to do in this life. And I think that's why I think if we are like in the riches, if we have all the materialism, and we are living this exuberant, like, or lavish life, all of this will never make sense. I think that's how I translate that verse of Bhagavad Gita, that any extreme is not the way to be. And Krishna himself says in that verse, we have to be, even for Karma Yoga, anything that we are doing, there has to be a complete balance. There has to be, extremes don't work. If we are too poor, bhuke pet bhajan na hoy. If we are too hungry, nobody would want to sit and listen to all this. If we are too tummy, we are full, or we have just woken up, all of this will never make sense. So he says that none of the extremes. Our tummy is too full, then there has to be at least 2-3 hours between the gap between our food and when we sit down to do our karma. And in that gap, how do you choose to keep your energies up? What you do in that time, your tummy is so full and you should not be doing your karma, because that's the time when the brain, all the energies, all the blood from your brain has gone down to your tummy, essentially to your digestive system. And that's the time it's not there. So how you use your mind, how you use the thoughts, What karma you choose then during that window? What do you do in that time is also something he's touched on. Like, what do you do during that interim where your mind, you are tummy full, your stomach full after your food, but this is not the time when karma will be at full-fledged, whatever karma you want, because it might not make sense. Then how during that interim time you keep your energies high? Last one is Yagnarthat Kamanognatra. So in the last sloka, he's saying that detachment from work, always making sure that we are doing the work, choosing the right work, all of that is possible and will be easier when we Yagnarthat, when we offer our work to God. Offer our work to God doesn't mean we have to go to temple, and it just means whatever work we do, we have to, before we start or when we start or while we are doing, we have to say, God, you know what? I'll do my best in whatever I'm doing, but I'm going to offer it to you. I'm not going to attach with whatever results it come. And we'll see if we really truly detach, that sailing through that karma comes. Because I don't know what the wonders are. I don't know how the mysticism works. What is the science behind? But it works. We have to remind ourselves to offer. God himself is saying to make it as an offering, yagnart, like make your work as an offering. Just offer verbally. Just say, you know, God, I'm going to offer it to you. And I say that to my daughter as well. And she plays soccer, and sometimes she loses and she's really down. She cries and all that. And so I tell her that, you know what, just offer it, Alicia. Just offer your work to Krishna and just say, Krishna ji, I'm going to do my best. If I lose, I lose. If I win, I win. And I think her right away, her question was, Mommy, how can I offer it? I lost the game. How can I offer it to God? And I think I told her that you know, did you give your best to it? If you gave your best effort to it, then it's divine. You can offer it. He will accept. And I think when we offer our work, even in the times when it does not come out to be the way it was supposed to be, the burden is not on us. God helps us to take that burden, and it doesn't become a bag of where we have these thoughts, this didn't work, that didn't. None of that happens. It actually helps us sail. And I think I'll stop right there, because I think that's the best way to end it. If ever we want to continue, we'll do it. But I think I'm
you,
going to
Prerna.
stop there.
Wonderful,
Sure.
wonderful sharing from you. And I give it to others to ask or share whatever they had. And if you could stop sharing, maybe, you know, like they'll come on video and ask you something. But wonderful, wonderful, Prerna. And I just wanted to tell you that as a group, we had also thought, we have planned, if you have seen that Monday onwards, we'll be doing 2 shlokas. And this is a miracle for all of us, Padmaji, Annapurna ji, and Archana, who are here, and they are saying it's a miracle. While you were there, we were saying that's a miracle that she's talking about Bhagavad Gita today. Yeah. So anybody else would like to say something, share something? Thank you, Prerna, for your wonderful talk.
Atmanandan ma'am,
Happy.
it was miracle, and also it was a good knowledge. We know, as she said, Prerna ma'am said, we all know, but we do not leave that state. That was the point, the main key to the today's lecture. And what she said before, at the starting only, experience is the main thing in the life. The soul came here to experience. If I want to say something to anybody, describe something to anybody, before I have experienced it, I could share it very beautifully. Otherwise, whatever I have read, whatever I have heard from anybody, whatever I have learned using intelligence, it is only a bookish. When it comes from the experience, it touches the heart of the listeners also. I have experienced all these things almost from 7 to 8 years. It comes from the heart when we experience it. If I say, keep quiet to the children, If I don't know how to keep quiet, I have not experienced it. The children in the class cannot keep quiet because the words are just uh, come from the mouth only, not the experience. That was well understood. And the last point was last shloka. We have to offer our work. When we offer before only, I'm going to give my best, but the result is I will offer it to you. Then the what we perform will be a best one that day. At that moment, what we give out or comes out from us, we are not there to give out anything from us. It is through that Almighty or Krishna, whatever we believe. It comes from me only. But when we offer before only, it comes free flowing only. Because it is not in my hands, it is only in the hands of the universe, whatever is to be given. Thank you. Thank you.
That is so true, very true.
Thank you,
Very
ma'am.
true, Annapurna ji. Anybody
Yeah,
else?
Prerna,
Yeah.
it was a delight to hear you and very well explained everything. I'm also driving right now, so like I cannot spend too much time. But really, thanks a lot for sharing all what you could. और मुझे एक और भी चीज याद आ रही है कि एक सूफी वो रहे हैं, तो मेरे पास एक कोट था बहुत पहले, और वो कोट ये था कि जो चिड़िया हैं, चिड़िया को लगता है कि वो उड़ रही हैं, बट एक्चुअली उनको उड़ाया जा रहा है. तो समथिंग द थिंग इज कि हमें लगता है कि हम कर्म कर रहे हैं, बट एक्चुअली में कर्म हम मतलब हम अपने को कर्ता समझते हैं, लेकिन अगर हम डीप में जाए तो शायद वो सही नहीं है. और जो आप जो बात कह रहे हैं कि हम व्हेन वी आर इन अ मोड ऑफ ऑफरिंग इट, so somehow I think those things are fitting together. This is what I heard about it.
True, very true, Rajat. Actually, I mean, there's so many slokas जो मेरे दिमाग में आ रहे हैं अभी क्योंकि exactly ये सब चीजें वो touch करती है जो तुम अभी you just said कि we like the fact that I'm able to come and join and share it with y'all. This is the divine's plan. I don't know. I mean, the fact that tomorrow we are doing a Gita class in this group, and today, I mean, I didn't plan or do, I mean, it just happened, right? That's the serendipity. That's God's plan, right? I mean, चिड़िया उड़ रही है is because we think हम कर्म कर रहे हैं. We are not. हम कर्म नहीं करते हैं. It's the God who's helping us do it. So if we just realize it, तो वो offering खुद पे खुद आ जाएगा. फिर किसी को बताने की वो जरूरत नहीं पड़ेगी. Yeah, no, very true, Rajat, very true.
Very
Well
true.
said, Prerna. This is Dharyam here from UK. Yeah, I agree with you and the other lady, and Rajat also very dear to me here in UK. So I just wanted to say that obviously the Gita is so useful and it's just a wonderful tool to all of us, which we can apply on our day-to-day life, and it works quite well. Most of the जो आपने जो श्लोकास बोले हैं वो काफी सुनते आए हम लोग बचपन से, हमने उनको कई बार फॉलो भी करते हैं अपनी लाइफ में. मेरा सिर्फ वही है कि ये जैसे हम एक एलिमेंट इसमें ये है जो कि बेसिकली गीता जब बोली गई थी तो महाभारत हो रहा था वहां पे कुरुक्षेत्र में, तो गीता के अर्जुन लड़ना नहीं चाह रहा था और कृष्ण उसको बोले कि भाई लड़, है ना, लड़के ही काम चलेगा क्योंकि लड़के ही तुम्हें सब कुछ मिलेगा चाहे वो तुम्हारे भाई बंधु हों. यहाँ पे देखो एक अप्रोच हमें शुरू से बताई गई है कि लड़ना गलत है, लड़ना सही नहीं है, लेकिन सेम चीज पे यहाँ पे लड़ना सही है क्योंकि न्याय के लिए लड़ा जा रहा है. अच्छा, अगर हम अभी रियल लाइफ में अपनी बात करें कि अगर आपके साथ अन्याय होता है तो मोस्ट मेरी जो जितनी मैं समझता हूँ कि काफी लोग इस चीज में बिलीव करते हैं कि यार जाने दो यार, टाइम नहीं है, अपनी लाइफ में बिजी हैं, ये हमारा काम नहीं है, हम क्योंकि हम पढ़े लिखे हैं, हमें अन्याय को भी थोड़ा सह लेना, कॉम्प्रोमाइज कर लेना चाहिए. एंड ऑफ द डे वो शायद कहीं ना कहीं अपने आप को समझा लेते हैं या अपने आप को इस तरह के कुछ रिलीजियस थॉट्स देके. मैं नहीं कह रहा हूँ कि ये रिलीजियस थॉट्स या स्पिरिचुअल लाइफ गलत है ना, ये बहुत अच्छी है, ये कहीं ना कहीं हमें यूज यूज आने वाली है और यूज आएगी भी, है ना, आगे तक आती रहेगी। लेकिन यहाँ जो जैसे अभी आपसे जो प्रीवियस जो मैडम थी ना, इन्होंने एक बड़ी अच्छी बात कही कि रियल लाइफ में और एक्सपीरियंस, है ना, प्रैक्टिकल जो होता है वहाँ पे हमें ये कहीं ना कहीं ये लाइन ड्रॉ सेट करनी होगी कि भाई हमें लड़ना तो जरूर है क्योंकि हमें न्यायिक लड़ाई लड़नी है, लेकिन हमें ये ड्रॉ भी करना, लाइन भी ड्रॉ करनी होगी कि क्या ये किस हद तक हम जा सकते हैं, कहाँ पे हमें इसको स्टॉप करना है, या कहाँ तक हम अपना टाइम दे सकते हैं, है ना। और मैं खैर इस प्रवृत्ति का हूँ कि मुझे लगता है कि बिल्कुल अगर गीता में भी है और हमारा भी मन ये कहता है कि यार अन्याय के खिलाफ लड़ना है तो लड़ना है, चाहे उसमें आपके टाइम और रिसोर्सेज जा रहे हैं, बशर्ते वो आपकी फैमिली और आपकी पर्सनल जो पीस है, इनर पीस, उसको अफेक्ट ना करे। अगर वो कर रहा है तो पहले आप सबसे पहले उसी पे काम करें और फिर बाहर की लड़ाई लड़ें। तो ये मेरा कमेंट है, ये कोई अगेन इज नॉट अगेंस्ट समथिंग विच बट
नहीं धैर्यम जी, वेरी धैर्यम, आई वुड से कि वेरी, इट्स वेरी कंस्ट्रक्टिव, क्योंकि ये वेरी ऐसी क्वेश्चनिंग हमें कर, क्वेश्चन, इट्स नॉट क्वेश्चनिंग एसेंशियली, ये ऐसी line of thinking has to come, and it comes to all of us, right? Sabke, this is the question a lot of my friends that I feel like, this is a wealth, we can use it on everyday life. I want them to feel it, to at least touch it, to at least get a taste of it, because I see it can help. But no, because hamara dimag, we have to have these internal fights and battles. And I think these questionings are very valid. I think we all start there. That's
very
where we
valid
should start.
point. Very valid point.
Very valid, very valid.
अच्छा, एक चीज मैं और ब्रीफ करूंगा, जस्ट एंड वेरी ब्रीफ, क्योंकि मैं आज जैसे आप लोगों से हूँ, ऐसे मैं डिफरेंट फेथ्स की कई बार थॉट्स सुनता रहता हूँ। आजकल नवरात्र चल रहे हैं तो घरों में सबके बड़ा ही आई थिंक देवी के एक धार्मिक माहौल होगा, खासतौर से जो नॉर्थ इंडियन है। इसके अलावा जैसे मैं एक दूसरे, जैसे मैं मल्टी फेथ, उनकी भी कई बार मैं बात सुन लेता हूँ, तो मैं भी एक किसी की बात सुन रहा था तो बड़ी अच्छी चीज मुझे मिली उसमें। तो उसने बोला कि यार पेरेंट्स, और आपने बोला ना कि आपकी बेटी, मुझे उससे ध्यान आया कि मैं भी कल अपने बेटे को यही बोल रहा था। मैंने कहा भाई देखो, हम लोग इतने अभी वेस्टर्न वर्ल्ड में रह रहे हैं, वेस्टर्नाइज हो चुके हैं मोस्ट ऑफ द थिंग्स में, नॉट ओनली ऑन डॉक्यूमेंट, कई चीज़ें, हमारा जो खाना पीना है या हमारे सोचने का तरीका है वो भी वेस्टर्न हो चुका है, जो कि कहीं हद तक अगर हमें कहीं जहाँ रहना है, जैसा देश वैसा भेष हमें रहना पड़ेगा। जो लोग कहते हैं कि नहीं यार ये तो बदल गया है या वो है, आई थिंक हम इंटरनली अभी भी इंडियन है और हमारा जो बाहर का आउटलुक है शायद वो वेस्ट हो चुका है। लेकिन एक चीज जो मैं वेस्ट में हमेशा देखता हूँ कि जो है कि आप कितने दूसरे को कितना वैल्यू कर रहे हैं। आई थिंक जो मेरे में मानता हूँ कि और मैं कल उसको ही बोल रहा था, मैंने कहा भी देख ऐसा है कि वेस्टर्न वर्ल्ड में रहना या वेस्ट में रहना, हालांकि वो छोटा है अभी, ओनली 6.5, पर एक चीज हम हमें हमेशा एक्सपेक्ट करेंगे आपसे, है ना, कि आप हमसे, पेरेंट्स से और अपने ग्रैंड पेरेंट्स से आपको काइंड और पूरा उनको रेस्पेक्ट देना है, यानी उनके साथ पूरी काइंडनेस भी दिखानी है, प्लस उनको रेस्पेक्ट भी देना है। अगेन हमें ये इसलिए मैंने कहा, और हम कोई हम इतने भी वेस्टर्न नहीं बने हैं कि अगर आप गलती करोगे तो हम नहीं डांटेंगे नहीं, है ना। ये मेरी खासतौर से, मैं तो नहीं इतना वेस्टर्न बना हूँ या इतना भी ब्रिटिश नहीं बना हूँ कि नहीं कहूँगा, लेकिन और इतना भी हाँ,
can I interject?
और just want to finish, प्रेरणा, सॉरी, कि और मैं सिर्फ ये भी कहूंगा कि मैं इतना भी वो नहीं हूँ कि इंडियन नहीं हूँ या इंडियन ओरिजिन का नहीं हूँ या इंडियन मेंटालिटी का नहीं हूँ कि मैं अपनी बातें आपके ऊपर थोपूंगा, यानी जस्ट इम्पोज करूंगा कि भाई तू ये नहीं करेगा तो मैं ऐसा करूंगा, या तू मेरा बेटा नहीं है या मेरा बाप नहीं हूँ, वो मैं नहीं करूंगा। लेकिन मैं सिर्फ एक ही चीज चाहता हूँ कि या हम पेरेंट्स ही जो चाहते हैं, आई थिंक दुनिया के सारे पेरेंट्स यही चाहते हैं और सभी फेथ के लोग ये चाहते हैं कि उनका बच्चा उनसे काइंड हो और वो एक उनको रिस्पेक्ट दे, है ना। नॉट ओनली उनको रिस्पेक्ट दे, वो जिससे भी बात करे उसको सबसे ज्यादा रिस्पेक्ट दे। फॉर एग्जांपल विद इन द ग्रुप, है ना। तो ये बस मेरे ये दो ही चीज मुझे शेयर करनी थी आपसे, आप लोगों से।
बिल्कुल सही है। श्वेता, would you like to add something?
Yeah. So thank you so much, Prerna. It was, I was really enjoying each and every word what you spoke, and the thing which really, I mean, which appealed me is like your emotions, because when you were speaking, it was coming through your emotions, your eyes were talking about it. So that was making me more connected to what you were saying. As you spoke about Om chanting, so I personally feel, and I have experienced that, I have done it, and that really does a lot of wonders, because I have done Isha Yoga Kriya, and there they they teach like this Om chanting and all. And truly speaking, I just want to share one of the experience, because this is what Sadhguru told it. Like whenever people are having some sort of emotional disbalances, or maybe it is going towards mental illness, so what does he do in the ashrama only? He let him do or her do, like anyone, this Om chanting at least 21 times. And that really, I mean to say, balance out your own chakras and your own energies. And that, I mean, I used to do it when the low phase was going for me, and I really found a lot of change. So this is my request. I mean to say, we can just take out 5 to 6 minutes time and can do Om chanting, because this is universal sound. If we cannot do anything, we can do this. So yeah, thank you so much, and I would really love to hear you more about different things. Thank you.
Shweta, I would say that that all that you heard today was because of Sadhguru. I mean, I can't say enough. I can't say enough.
I know. I could sense that connect when you were talking about, you were explaining about Om chanting, and then I really felt that sort of connect. And the more of when you were explaining it, I don't know whether others realized it or not. आपकी आंखें और आपके जो चेहरे का experience, मतलब जो response थे, it was coming from within, and that really felt me to listen to you. I mean, वो मुझे लगा कि when it is coming from your own experience, I should hear you out. Otherwise, I mean, yeah, everything was good. Thank you.
I have to say,
You're most welcome.
yes, we have to
Prerna.
experience this. We have to experience
Prerna, you can come one more time whenever less technical things are there, and we'll sort it out. And thank you again. Any last words from
I want to say one
Padmaji?
quick
Please
comment
go ahead. Yeah.
to Dharyam, and I think I have 2 young kids too, and I think Dharyam, we have to put ourselves in the shoe of our kids. And a kid is going, a person, when they're growing up, they're just going through their bodily changes. Like they don't have a mind, they are reactive. Like when we are reactive, and that's how it is. They are controlled fully by what's going on, what they see around, the Western world that we see around, which is I'm not saying anything against any of that, but the way we can touch it is really by starting at the root level. So I do scriptures with my kids. So if you want to really, if you don't want to enforce it on if we don't want to enforce it on kids, because enforcement never works, never will work. So I would say start with a scripture class. You don't do it because it doesn't work with the parents. I assist, but we do the scripture class, online class we do. And she never enforces. That's the amazing thing. She's almost enlightened, this lady who teaches them. I take Gita class from her. But my guru really is Sadhguru, to be just to a disclosure. But yes, so it's not because I'm trying to discipline my kids, but it just gets in them. It just gets in them from the root, from down up. Yeah. So I'll just say that to them.
Great, thank you. Thanks, Prerna.
So again, thank you, Prerna. And whenever you have time, just put on the wall or on the group, and we'll arrange. And yes, and we are starting. So thank you, Dharyam, Annapurna ji, Padma, Madhulin, Shweta, everybody. Thank you. And on behalf of Spiritual Parents, thank you, Prerna, for sharing. Yes. Thank you for joining.
Thank you very much, ma'am.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you.